get off of from that second match to win the third and end up 2-1?
Yeah, I think to address the Long Beach stage match, it was the second time in my career we've been up 2-0 and lost 5 to them, so it was frustrating. But I believe a lot in growth through adversity, and our non-conference schedule is set up to help us grow through adversity. We've got a lot of really tough teams that we're playing. Opening up with Arkansas at home here on Thursday night is going to be a tough match, a good SEC team, and going to a Final Four team in the University of Washington is going to be really tough. Long Beach State we knew was going to be fired up, number one, because it's the first match they've played in 2 years, because they didn't play a match during COVID. Yeah, it was disappointing to not get that win, but at the same time, the growth we experienced as a team, as a program, was tangible. And I think you saw the outcome of that growth, because we were able to have meaningful conversations after that Long Beach State match that set us up for success both against Dixie and Boise.
How do you feel about the start of your season so far, Coach? How would you describe this team so far?
I am having the most fun. This is an incredible team. They're all very committed, and my staff is incredible. I just couldn't be happier, to be honest. The hairs are standing up on my arms. It's pretty cool.
What about it makes it so fun for you this year?
I think we're going to places we haven't been to as a program before. I think sometimes when we've had those hard losses like Long Beach State, we've all just kind of retreated and licked our wounds and then tried to come back and do it again. Whereas this time round, we've been able to put some tools in place, I guess you'd say, where we're facing more of these things head on and having those hard conversations and asking some questions of both ourselves and each other to say, how can we be better, with each other and for each other? And, it requires some fearlessness to do that. And this team has definitely got that. It's pretty cool.
If you could pick one player so far that's kind of leading the pack for your team and just stepping up, who would it be and why?
Oh, you're making me pick one player. Come on, Alex.
You just think about it.
Yeah, I think I think I'm always going to point to Kira Thompson. I think she carries a huge workload for us on the court, and then as one of our captains, does a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure we're moving in the right direction. I think Libby Christensen's the same way, as is Hannah Scott. But I think kind of Kira sets the tone with that stuff, so it's pretty cool.
We didn't get to talk to you before the season started, but you guys had your best season since 2004 last year, and you were tabbed to finish 4th this season. Are you happy with that ranking, or I'm sure you obviously expect to have that #1 spot?
It means nothing. It's so funny, the preseason polls that come out. It's kind of like I've made a really conscious effort this year, especially after the experience of last year with COVID, where so many things were thrown at us that were outside of our control, and to be a little tougher and focus on the things that I can control. And so preseason ranking, I can't control that, and it's like whatever, because no one's played any matches at that point, And I think what I know about our team, we had a head coach's call recently about something, and everyone was all worked up about it. And I was like, Daniel, you're surprisingly quiet, because usually I'm pretty vocal on our head coach's calls with the Big Sky. And I was like, look, it's outside of my control. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just focused on my team. That's about where I'm at, and that's how I feel about the preseason ranking.
What were the goals that you kind of set for this season with 12 returners coming back?
Yeah, we want to win it all. Yeah, we want to win the regular season. We want to win the conference championship. We want to go to the NCAA tournament. We want to make noise in the NCAAs. I think we've got the ability to do that. Obviously, you got to have some luck along the way, and for me, I have to make sure there's no barriers in the way. Whether it's coming from the coaching staff or from within the team, we've got to make sure we're not tripping each other up. And I think. Look at previous seasons, and maybe we've had the talent to go further, but I think we've tripped ourselves up at times, and that's my job to manage that situation.
And then looking at your stats from this past tournament, you guys had some newcomers get some play time. How have your freshmen been adapting in the first couple of weeks? Yeah,
unbelievably well. I think 5 really talented freshmen coming in. I think the only one who didn't get in was Courtney Wisniewski, I think. putting Courtney Weatherby in on her hometown. I wouldn't say it's her home court, but in her hometown, she had like 50 people there. It was unbelievable. And I look at the end of the, was at the end of the fourth set, she came in and got 2 meaningful aces that really gave us a separation. And just to see her grow in stature through that experience was pretty cool. And then obviously Audrey Hofer and Jordan Raddick, we knew they were special coming in. I think they're going to prove just how special they are as the year goes on.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, no worries.
Pretty big tournament this weekend here on your home floor. You kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning of this, but just having the experience of being able to have a home crowd come in and be able to see 3 different teams you don't see often here, what's that experience going to be like to get some different competition in here?
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so awesome. And I appreciate all the work that goes into these things. You know, from our athletic training staff to our facilities crews to everybody who ticketing, you know, you guys, Andrew, put the stream on, and it's a huge production. And to do 3 matches over 3 days for us, and not to mention the other 3 matches that are going to occur with the other teams playing. Is it 3 or 4? I forget. Anyway, there's a few. It's a huge production, but it's so meaningful to be able to play at home at this time of the year, allow our student athletes to be students and not be on the road 4 weeks out of the first 4 weeks, you know, be at home for a week out of at least one out of the first 4 weeks, so they can go to class and get their feet underneath them academically, because that always helps us be more focused on the court. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Arkansas is no joke. They did really well in the SEC in their abbreviated season, so been watching film on them last night and today, and they're good. You know, it's going to be fun. Jason Watson, their head coach, is a former assistant coach here under Dave Gant, and so there's history there for him bringing his team back here for I think the first time he's been back to Montana State since he left. So he's going to be fired up and want his team to do well here in front of people he knows well. And then Utah State, that's a program on the up and up, I tell you. Their head coach, Rob Nielsen, is a phenomenal coach. He had been with the USA men's team through the Rio Olympics and dropped out just prior to this quad to take on Utah State. And so I'm expecting a very tough Utah State team to come into town. And then, you know, Portland, I know they're on a program on the rise as well. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. It's going to be fun to be in front of the fans. You know, I can't encourage people now enough to come out, because it's going to be a phenomenal weekend of volleyball, really high-level volleyball with a great atmosphere in Shroyer. So it's going to be a good time.
All right.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.